Welcome to Real Talk with Demetrius Johnson. I'm excited to be at an environment with a guy I'm gonna have a great conversation with. And that guy is Dr. Warmack from Hairsville State University, historically black university. And I'll tell you something, man. This guy's got to be one of the sharpest men I ever had an opportunity to meet. What I was very impressed with him is his youth, but his knowledge. And he's got a lot of youth, but he's got a knowledge of a guy 90 years old. Let me bring into the conversation my man, Dr. Warmack. How you doing, man?
Hey DJ, how you doing?
And first of all, man, congratulations for the great work you've done here at Hairsville State University, man.
Thank you so much. We're excited.
Talk about, when I first met you, man, I was really kind of shocked when I saw how young you were.
Okay.
I'm like, how in the heck? I mean, give us a background of Dr. Warmack or who you are and how we get an opportunity to get you here in St. Louis. But how did you get to where you are today?
Thanks, DJ, man. I am, first off, thank you for having me on your show. You know, I've been fortunate to listen to your radio show almost every Sunday, and amazing work that you do for not just the radio, but the community. So thank you for that work. So for me, I'm honored to be here. You know, I don't take it as a it's a blessing to serve as president of any institution, and so to have the opportunity to lead an historically black college like Harris Stowe, whose mission is to serve the underrepresented, underserved population, it's truly an honor. So this is my 18th year in higher education. So contrary to popular belief, I've been doing it a long time. This is my 6th university. That's the only thing I've ever done. So I born and raised in Detroit, but I went to college in Mississippi. My president said you'll be a college president one day, and hired me, and so worked at School of Mississippi for 4 years. Went on to North Carolina, worked in North Carolina system for 5 years. Moved to Tennessee, worked in a highly selective liberal arts institution for 5 years, and then moved to Florida and worked at a historically black college for 5. So I've what they say, paid my dues to be able to do that. So I've been everywhere in the higher education rank. I've served as a coordinator, a director, a dean, a vice president, and now a president.
So what I hear you saying all the various places you've been, but if somebody was to see you today, they would think, hey man, somebody must have been there. His mom and dad must have been an educator, had that background. And let's talk about that.
Well, I didn't have that fortune, DJ. I'm first generation college student at its core, and so that's why I have decided to serve at a place like Harris Stowe. I worked at other institutions that were very highly selective, but that really wasn't my calling in life. A place like Harris Stowe took a chance on me. And I was a first generation college student. My mom had a middle school education. My dad was never there, and so my mom raised 5 of us and 5 boys in one of the toughest areas of Detroit, so I'm the middle. Have one little brother serving a 42-year sentence in penitentiary. Have another little brother, going through the things he's going through, and my oldest brother has a high school diploma. None of my other brothers have a GED, and so education, I didn't come from a education background, but I was blessed to be an athlete. And so that was my ticket out, as we would say, out of the hood, and so I went on to play at a Division II school at Delta State, won a lot of games, was a captain there, and had a really, really decent athletic career, there. And from that, I was propelled as a student leader from there. I wasn't always the most academically inclined either, man. I finished high school with a very subpar GPA. When I say subpar, I had to go JUCO first because I was a non-qualifier, so I had to go play junior college first.
But when you talk about some of those things of not family, real strong family, it sounded like your mom did her best to handle your situation.
Oh, yeah.
But it's amazing where you are today.
Right.
When you look back on it. But talk about the challenge, though. I mean, I played with Lions in Detroit, so I kind of know that whole dynamic in Detroit, man.
Right.
When we look at you, what has been some of the major challenges for a young black guy that the odds were stacked against him? Nobody thought you was going to achieve where you are. What's been some of those challenges?
Well, I think, DJ, and I think in some ways that's still the same thing now, when you think, this whole ideology of ageism, as racism is real, sexism is real, ageism is real, so, he looks young, so he doesn't meet the qualifications until the background is explained, and then that shift this whole mindset of what it is. I think the challenging piece, I haven't allowed my circumstances to define me, And so I've been blessed to have some amazing mentors. So I've had some folks who believed in me, coaches, from Little League AU coaches all the way through rec centers that I was a part of, who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And so I also had a brother in Detroit by the name of Rodney Deal, who took me under, I didn't know how to fill out a FAFSA. I didn't know any of those things. And so he took me in, and my mom did do the best she possibly could with 5 boys, man. That's challenging in the city of Detroit, man. And so she was truly a queen. She wanted better. So when I migrated to Mississippi, we were on welfare, and so and this was a time before you had your fancy EBT or bridge cards. We had the food stamp books.
No doubt.
And so
and so I know about the food
stamp books, right? So
the young folks don't know
about
that.
the food stamp books,
right?
right.
Yeah, they don't have no idea.
So when
what
other
it is.
people parents were, when they're in school, sending them money in their checking account, I didn't have a checking account. My mom would send me, parts of the books of the food stamps, and so I would be able to go to the grocery store and have stuff. So the sacrifices she made that allowed me to be in a position now, I'm so grateful and thankful. And so for me, serving at Harris Stowe is paying it forward. These kids are inner city kids from St. Louis. It's not that far off from Detroit. And these kids, this is their opportunity, and it was, like I said, a place like this that took a chance on me, where I didn't have the GP, I didn't have the test scores, but it was a nurturing environment that allowed me to be successful and be the youngest college president in the country when I took the job.
Well, Doc, there's a lot of folks would say if you don't have that structure behind you, chances on you being successful is really slim. It sounds like you really didn't have the structure, but you had people who cared about you. How have that philosophy translated to you being who you are as a president of a historically black university?
Well, I think if you walk this campus, you'll see the students will say, the faculty will say, and administration will say, Dr. Wormack is always present. Like, oh, you don't operate like the traditional president. Well, I mean, nothing about me is traditional in the first place, based on the grades, based on all those things. But I think it's, my thing is to having the opportunity to show students that anything is possible. I couldn't have conceptually imagined being a college president. Growing up, that wasn't something that I thought I could do. I was an athlete, and that's what I knew. But once again, and even through that, I thought my goal was to coach. I wanted to coach. My goal was to, be a coach. And I never forget, my basketball coach in college put me in and said, hey, you have a different skill set and ability. You can do so much more. He said, my whole life has been consumed to this coaching. You see, I miss Thanksgiving dinners. I miss all of those things. You have the ability to be an amazing leader, and you might want to think about administration. I'm like, Coach, man, I'm graduating. Thank you, Lord. You talking about administration? You know what I'm saying? And so no, man. And so mine is, how do I show the young leaders here at Harris Stowe anything is possible? So I'm present on the campus. I walk the campus. I have conversations. I share, my story when it's needed, for them to be motivated. I'll give a prime example. A young man yesterday was in here for about 2.5 hours. College presidents are not meeting with students for 2.5 hours.
Right.
His time is,
Right.
But he's from Jennings, and he shared with me his sort of story of didn't believe he was college material, but Harris Stowe took a chance on him last year. And he said, Dr. Wormack, we were homeless my entire senior year. He said we were living, squatting. We would go from this house, until they turn the utilities off, and then we'll go to the next house. And now he's here, came in with right at a 2.0, low test score. He has a 3.7 GPA here now. He's in a leadership position, but he says, Dr. Wormack, you showed me it was possible. And so just being able to, those are the intangible words no money or anything else can do when I see the transformation happening to the underserved young African American male population.
Yeah, but how difficult was it for you being as young as you are? And Harris Stowe State University was run by older folks, changing a whole dynamic and a philosophy. That had to be a heck of a challenge because young guys, new guys, they come in with their old deal, and you had that old philosophy here.
Right.
How difficult was that?
Well, I think for me, I've really approached it as, I think it's before this institution has 160 years, right? And so whoever came in at one time had to be new at one time. So there was a great foundation that was set. And so what I tried my best not to disrupt the foundation, but say, okay, we've made it to this far. Now how do we go to the next level? So I'll spend a significant amount of time on us saying, how do we go from good to great? And so what is great greatness look like for Harris Stowe over the next 10 years and create a robust matrix. The great philosopher by the name of Jay-Z once quoted, "Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't." And so for me, I don't get into the conversations about what was and what wasn't, but here's where we're trying to go, and here's the matrix we need to accomplish to be able to get there. And so that way, this whole ageism and anything like that, I just don't try to spend a lot of time on it.
Wow. But I hear you're not spending a lot of time on it, but I guarantee you, the older folks spend a lot of time on it.
Right.
It seemed like it might have been a heck of a challenge for you.
Well, DJ, I think,
and then really just changing a philosophy of years.
Right. And I think, honestly, but that's, what I've learned, that's their issue, and so this wasn't new for me. Like when I took the job at Bethune-Cookman, I was the youngest vice president in the country. When I was at, school in Memphis, I was the youngest dean, so this is, fortunately, this is not a new phenomenon. So, but what I've made sure I've done is not put that energy there, right? And so I set the bar, and people rise to the level of expectation, or they transition out, and so what I would tell students all the time, I'm arguing with my professor and my teacher. No, that professor or the teacher has the power to pen. You won't win that battle. And so, at the end of the day, I am the president, right? And so, at the end of the day, the decision does become, mine, so.
Spoken like a true president.
Okay.
My man, Dr. Womack, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back. You're looking at Real Talk with Demetrius Johnson.
Big P Car Wash and Detailing is a proud supporter of the Demetrius Johnson Foundation.
Crown Mart is a proud supporter of the Demetrius Johnson Charitable Foundation.
Welcome back to Real Talk with Demetrius Johnson. I'm having a great conversation with a person I truly admire and respect, the president of Harris Stowe State University, Dr. Womack. Dr. Womack, in our conversation, we talked about just the various obstacles. Now let's talk about achievements now. When you came here, the enrollment was down.
Right.
There was no respect. What we say, keep it real. There's no respect at Harris Stowe State University. Nobody wanted to come here.
Right.
It was hard to get the local kids to come and be a part of this university. What are some of the things you've done to achieve your goal? Because I know we're going to make an announcement about your numbers today that's outstanding.
Right.
Talk about it.
Well, first, DJ, I think it's, believing in the product. This is an amazing jewel here in St. Louis. When you think about historically black colleges and what they've meant to this country for years, and so you think of a place like St. Louis, a large African-American population, and it needs a place like Harris Stowe. So what I wanted to do was bring a strong focus on branding and marketing the product. The infrastructure, beautiful campus, beautiful residence halls, has a small, intimate environment. So what I wanted to do was really share that. So we have 4 strategic things we focused on when I arrived. We wanted to create an excellence agenda. That's excellence in, branding and marketing, excellence in fundraising and friend raising, so really bringing folks to the campus to see what happens, excellence in recruitment and retention, and excellence in building the model of greatness at Harris Stowe.
But the challenges. Your numbers was like dismal.
Yeah.
The morale of the whole campus was terrible.
All right.
How did you get everybody to buy into you with that philosophy? And you had to see it when you came. I saw it, and I didn't even go here. I would never want to come on Harris Stowe's campus.
Right. Well, you were an athlete. I think it's, and everyone wants to be a part of winning. And I think it's, so how do you create a winning culture? So we had dropped in enrollment 10 years straight at the institution, which is almost unheard of in higher education. And so,
hold up. You dropped the enrollment 10 years straight, meaning?
Our enrollment declined 10 years straight.
Wow.
Prior to my arrival. And I think that can be a credit to a lot of things, enrollment in high school and all of those things. And so for me, I looked at it as an opportunity. There's a lot of people here at the campus and also in the community said it couldn't change. And so last year, my first year, we had record enrollment. We increased our enrollment. We had the highest enrollment increase amongst any state institution, 2-year, 4-year school in the state of Missouri. So we had about a overall 24.4% increase for new students and 8.6% overall.
But how were you able to accomplish that?
I can't tell you my strategy, DJ. Then everybody else gonna have it.
I'm just
right?
saying it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
how do you?
Well, I think part of that is, man, and it's all intentional. We had a strategic enrollment management plan, so how do we go out there? So I spend a significant amount of time personally at all the high schools. I speak at a variety of different high school commencement ceremonies. I personally recruit. I go, once again, I don't want to continue to give my strategy away, but I think it's important to know it didn't happen happenstance.
Well, the reason why I'm asking that question is important that people know that you're a hands-on president.
Oh, yeah.
There's other presidents and other universities who let everyone else do the work.
Oh, no.
I mean, you're taking like a personal accountability
Right.
for what's going on.
Right. So when I was hired by the board, I told them that was a big, concern, that enrollment was a challenge. I said that is an area of expertise that I know. Allow me the chance to fix it. And they said, okay, cool, we can do this over the next 3 to 5 years. I said, no, we'll do it next year, and we'll have a significant increase. And so we did that this year, last year, and had a significant increase. And once again, it's personal for me. I go to these kids' house, just like a coach that recruited me that came to my house. No other college presidents are going to homes, so I'm going to folks' homes.
So you actually, the president, hold on. What would make you go to somebody's home?
If I want them, I'm going to get them. And if you're a top performing kid, and say if you're a top kid from Jennings High School, right? And I see you, and you have the criteria, you can go anywhere else in the country. I want you. I want to show you how much I want you. I want to come in front of your mom and dad to tell you.
So it's like recruiting like sports.
Exact same way.
Wow.
But I see, I'm giving my strategy, DJ. Now everybody's going to be doing it, brother. Everyone's going to be doing it.
Because everybody's not as committed.
Right.
I mean, they can know all the strategies in the world.
Right.
But I guarantee a kid goes back to that school and say, guess who came to my house?
Exactly. That makes a world of a difference.
Wow.
So
that's amazing. That's the first I've ever heard that.
Yeah. You'll stop some of these kids here on campus, and they'll tell you, I'm here, and once again, I have an amazing team. And so my team, they'll tell me like, hey, you might want to be at this fair, or here's our top 10 kids. So give me the top 10 kids. I'm calling every one of them.
But now let's transition to something that most black institutions don't believe in. And that's bringing a valuable and a sports program to the forefront.
Yes, indeed.
Most black institutions don't think that's important. Right. But you see, the mainstream universities, they're doing it and investing money in it because they know it's a heck of a return. Right. Why is it that some black universities don't understand it, and how important is it to have that?
Well, and I think, I don't know if it's black institutions as much as just resource allocation. I think it's a lot of our black institutions for so long have been under-resourced. So when you think about the funding we receive here in the state of Missouri, it's almost, we're a state, institution, but the funding we receive doesn't even pay our payroll, and so understanding that, so we have to be very strategic about where do we allocate our resources. And so for me, athletics is important, not just because of the character development that happens with young males and females. I know as a living witness, if it wasn't for athletics, I wouldn't be here today.
But kid, don't you also identify winning programs bring value of economics back to your school?
Not just economics, also too your enrollment. You look at when Mizzou won the championship and switched to SEC, their applications doubled the next year. Right, and so athletic programs translate, if it's done properly, to quality enrollment coming in from a student athlete, not just from a student athlete perspective. Students want to be a part of. That's part of the social life. Students spend 18 to 22% of their time in the class, so that means 78 to 82% of their time is outside the class. If you have a robust athletic program that students can feel like it's part of theirs, it's a recruitment tool. So if I can go out and say, hey, our men's basketball team is competing for a national championship, I got kids coming from all over. Like, I want to be there. I want to be a part of it. You had a chance to attend the Lincoln basketball game.
Oh, man,
right?
it was awesome.
So when you think about it creates a community. When I came, I said, hey, I want to create this classic. Dr. Womack, you don't want to do that. We don't do that here. No, we need to. It's a way to bring the community together. It's a recruitment tool. It's a way for the community to see through athletics. All of these great things are happening.
But that value of you with your hands on, and selecting people around you was so important. How has it been going and getting the St. Louis community involved in what you're doing in this community? How has that been for you?
Well, it's been great. I think it's, for me, I think a couple things, the black, clergy or the black church community is so important for me. And so I've spent a significant amount of time visiting multiple churches, sharing the great things that are happening at Harris Stowe. As a state institution, this is St. Louis campus, so especially for the urban minority core, this is your hometown HBCU. We want that to happen. And so I think spending time at not just the churches, someone said all the time, Dr. Womack, you're everywhere, but I'm a part of this community. I believe in being there, and Harris Stowe should be a part of this community. So I think I've been embraced very well. What I've really tried to bring to the St. Louis community is understanding the true narrative of this place. I think it's we've allowed a lot of other folks to tell our story, and we haven't told our story. And so once we get people to the campus and see, they're like, man, folks in St. Louis who drive past and didn't even know Harris Stowe was here.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was there.
So with that, I know you're going out. I know you're talking about it. How have you been able to partner with the various organizations and the people to say, hey, man, I believe in Dr. Womack. I believe in what he's doing. The education process at Harris Stowe State University is at an all-time high. Talk about that.
Well, we've been intentional on multiple fronts. So we partner very strong with St. Louis Public Schools, so to ensure that we create that relationship. So with Calvin Adams and the work that he's doing there, ensuring that we are a catalyst there. Riverview Gardens, Jennings School District, we partner with those individuals as well. We partner with a variety of districts to ensure that those students have access to this community. So we have a summer program. If you're in high school, 10th, 11th grade at any of those schools, you can have a residential experience on campus. We just completed a Verizon grant for $400,000 that we taught 3D printing, entrepreneurship, and business development for middle school African American males from underrepresented, underserved populations. And so brought them to campus for 8 weeks and let them get a chance to learn those different skills. So we're going out to the community and bringing the community to campus and serving as a resource for that.
Well, when I look at your overall progression, I'm impressed. I'm telling you, I'm really impressed because I never thought Harris Stowe State University, looking at the new dormitories, looking at your whole facilities, looking at your whole campus, the daycare center. Man, this is a real gem, man.
It is.
And we got to understand why it's important for us to know about your university.
Right. So that's what I think. Dr. Givens did an amazing job of building this foundation. So when I say I walked into an infrastructure sort of gold mine, have new residence halls, we have the early childhood center, we have the amazing library, we have the Emerson Theater, now back home of the Black Rep. So we have amazing facilities, and Dr. Givens had the vision, had one building, one major to be able to do that. So I got here, we had 13 degree programs, but to be successful, I had to build on that. So we're up to 31 degree programs in less than, in less than 2 years. We have 31 degree programs.
And how many did you have before then?
13.
And how many are you up to now?
31.
Oh my goodness.
So we had about 108% increase over 2 years.
Wow. How did you come up with that vision?
Well, to recruit students, you have to have degree programs to be able to do it. And so I challenged our faculty and challenged our administrators to understand the importance of, building this brand, and so if I want to recruit a kid from the urban core, well, they have different degree programs. So we didn't just increase the degree programs, we partnered with local institutions. So you talk about the relationship. We created a partnership with St. Louis University, amazing institution. We're doing a 3+2 program. Students do 3 years with us in mathematics, then you can go there and get an engineering degree at SLU. Washington University, we have a 3+2 program with their master's degree in occupational therapy. So students do 3 years with us and then go on to get a master's degree in occupational therapy from Washington University. Just finalized the MOU with St. Louis College of Pharmacy. Students do 3 years with us. Then their last year, they'll start their 4th year at the Doctor of Pharmacy program. So I've been intentional about not just creating our programs, but reaching out to our surrounding institutions to understand it's not a competition. We work together. We have no aspirations to create a medical school. We have no aspiration to create a law school or a pharmacy school, but we have schools or engineering school. So we have schools here that do that, and so we build those relationships with them.
So we got to break that rumor up. A rumor about other universities may try to consume Harrisville State University. This is, and that's funny to me because Harrisville State University meant so much to the African American community for a long time.
Right. I think for us, DJ. I mean, it's all but a rumor to me. I think we are it'd be far fetched to say you're closing an historically black college that's been here about 160 years in this community, has had record enrollment 2 years straight. So I talked about last year. This year we had 37 states represented, 10 countries in this class.
Wow.
So understanding that we'll offer master's degrees for the first time in school history. Our finances are amazing at this point. We are operating in a surplus. I can't to close that. That'd be tough.
And then the tuition. Real quickly. It's so affordable.
The most affordable tuition
It's
structure.
unbelievable. Why would you come here? And
Right.
then you get great facilities. You're not going to be, having to take out a home loan to pay it
Exactly.
back when you graduate. This is amazing, man.
So I think that's why, once again, the jewel that's here. And so what we've done is package all of these great things that this institution had to offer, and we've taken on the roads. We have students far west as LA that are here, students far east as New York, and they're loving their experience here.
Well, Doc, this is what I'm going to give you to do. I want you to look in that camera and tell everybody why they need to attend Harrisville State University.
Well, Harrisville State University is the school of choice. If you're interested in getting a quality, affordable, transformational education, Harrisville is where you want to be. We're student-centered, we're student-focused, we're student-driven. Students, if you want to come and get an education that can prepare you for a global society, Harrisville is where you need to be. Go to our website, www.hssu.edu, and go to our missions page, and we'll love to have you. And we have a variety of different scholarships for you top scholars.
Well, Mac, it's a real honor having you on there, man. It's a pleasure, man. Thank you for allowing us to be in your world.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
It's my man, Dr. Dewan Warmack, the president of Harrisville State University. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. If I had an opportunity to go back to college, I'm coming to Harrisville State University. The big fella, Demetrius Johnson, we'll see you next time. This has been Real Talk.